Okay, we should be live. What's up, everybody? Happy Wednesday. Oh, I gotta get the music going on. Let's see. Give me 1 second, turn on the music. There we go. All right, who did we have first in the house today? We had Craig Lilly. What up, Craig? H. Hargett, STK. What up, what up? What up, Staying 2007. You guys watched the Gamers Nexus video on the tariffs? I've been working through it. It's a long video. Oh my goodness. I can only imagine, you know, as a content creator myself, like when you have a 3-hour video, you have much more footage that made up that video, right? I can only imagine, and I don't know if they talked about that in the video because I haven't watched it from start to end. I've kind of been like hopping around in it, but yeah, the amount of work they put into that is kind of crazy. All the traveling that they did, all the different interviews, and then trying to edit that into a cohesive video. It's a lot. I don't think I'll like get through watching all of it, and even if I do, I'll probably start to forget stuff as I'm watching more of it. But yeah. Do y'all have any tips for PC flipping on Marketplace? The only tips that matter the most is finding. You have to be a good deal hunter. Successfully flipping, I mean, yeah, sure, taking pictures, writing good descriptions and all of that, putting together rigs that are like make sense. That's all fine and dandy, but to successfully flip, you need to buy parts for as cheap as you can, then so that you could sell it for a reasonable price, right? I mean, you could set any price that you want when you're PC flipping. You can set something like ridiculous, but your products or your builds aren't going to move. So the biggest, most important factor is your ability to deal hunt and get parts for under average or market reference value, so that when you do sell it, it'll actually move and that you can profit. But I'm not the person to ask about PC flipping. I can PC flip. I have done it in the past, but it's not what the majority of my content is about. In terms of channels that talk about that, of my personal friend group, I think Zach's Tech Turf is leading the charge on that one. Oh no, I would say Tech Yes City. Brian from Tech Yes City also does quite a bit of PC flipping content. But it's just something that I'm not super interested in doing. I'm not trying to play tech support for people or just to put a bunch of PCs out there to like random strangers. I'm fine selling to friends and family, but not to like a bunch of different random strangers, and I don't want to do it full time. What up, Dispatcher Gaming? What up, Extreme Zone? What up, KL130? Firestorm in the house. Rumor has it Intel might actually be making a higher end Battlemate CPU after all. Yeah, I've been seeing those rumors. We could actually bring that up. Let me see if I can find the article on it. And it was according to that Twitter leaker, right? I think that was actually news a few weeks ago, but we can bring that up. I'm very curious though, how much higher end would they go compared to the B580? I let's see. So B580 is around the performance level of like a 6700 XT, 6800. And it's supposed to be $250. Let's say this higher end one. I don't imagine they're gonna be able to even come close to competing with the 9070 XT or 5070s and things like that. I would imagine it would be a card that's maybe like 400, if not 450, and just given that price, you're gonna have kind of limited performance. They're not gonna all of a sudden give you for $400 a card that performs at a 9070, if that makes sense. So I'll keep my expectations kind of grounded. Though I don't know if that is something to look forward to though, with all the disappointing pricing and lack of availability in terms of like, you know, the Battle Mage new GPU coming out. Because if it does come out, they're not going to be able to make enough to supply everybody with it, right? Just even the B580. The B580 is a card that you don't even need to buy. There for $250 to $300. There are so many cards used. It's mostly used in the new market. There's not many cards you can buy that perform similar to it. But in the used market, you can get 6700 XTs, RTX 3070s, things like that that perform similar enough to it. So for a card that has a bunch of alternatives, for it to still be continually sold out, I don't know if I'm looking forward to a higher end Intel Arc card, just because I think across the board, whatever brand you're buying from, right, NVIDIA, AMD, or Intel, there's going to be, people aren't going to be happy with the availability and pricing. But we'll see. What up, people? Says Hazard Me. What up, Hazard Me? Yo, no time for gaming. No time for gaming. There's always time for gaming. You just lose sleep. The Gamers Nexus underwater basket weaving. The Gamers Nexus video seemed kind of sus. A lot of it came off as a sales pitch, especially Height opening the margin sheet on their loss leader. Is that what you took away from it? That's not what I took away from it. What do you mean, like a sales pitch to justify these higher costs and to like guilt trip you know, us as the consumers into paying higher prices because these companies are struggling right now? Is that the angle that you saw it as? Because I didn't, from what I've seen so far, and I've probably watched like 40 minutes of it, I didn't catch that vibe at all. But I'm interested if anybody else in the chat feels that. I watched like 2 minutes out of the 3 hours. You got a lot more to watch. Well, yeah, that's what I kindly had it on. Like, I had it on as background noise. But it's kind of hard to have that video on as background noise because they're going over, like, so much. It's so densely packed that if you're even remotely distracted at all, you're going to miss a lot of it, so... Buying everything on Amazon, no sales, and reselling it will be tough. Yes, that is not how you should be flipping a computer. Honestly, the best way, like, is used. If you're buying something brand new and you're trying to make a profit off of it, you're not going to do that much better than, you know, system integrators out there who are able to get parts for a little bit cheaper than you are because they're buying in bulk and direct. And they're just like more efficient at it, right? If you go and do a PC part picker list and buy everything brand new from either Newegg, Amazon, or wherever, Best Buy, and then try to tack on your $200 build fee or whatever, you're not going to come in that much better than like iBuyPower, CyberPower, NZXT, or any of those other companies that already have pre-builds. If you go used, though, that gives you an advantage because none of those companies do used, right? They all have to buy new. And used is where you can get a decent amount, like, chopped off, at least on the graphics card, and maybe on motherboards it's pretty good too. And then if you shop for AliExpress, even though AliExpress is going to change in a little bit here, then you can make it. But I don't know if it's a good time to get into PC flipping in general, like coming up soon here. Underwater Basket Weaving says, if you're going to cherry pick sections of that Gamers Nexus video to watch, start with the Freight Forwarder Proto Case. Okay, I have not that's like all kind of later on, right? That's like in the second half of it, I believe. At least I know Proto Case is. And then the Corsair CEO sections. I was reading, because it was posted on the PC Master Race subreddit, that the Corsair CEO interview was actually very good. So I definitely do want to watch that part. Yeah. Yo, what's up, Logitech? I tried flipping a PC, pulled a muscle in my back. Let's see. GPU 5060 8 gig is not good for gaming. It's good with 5060 Ti 16 gigabytes, which I did want to look at the inventory situation right now. I'm actually seeing sub $500 5060 Ti 16 gigabytes, at least before the stream on Newegg. I don't know if they're coming in and out of stock, but we'll take a look at that. What up, Misty Hill? Desired specs is, I don't know if you remember, but I upgraded from the 5600 plus 2070 Super to a 9600X and 2080 Ti combo. That sounds vaguely familiar, but okay, you upgraded, and are you happy with your upgrade? Did it feel worth it? We need to know more details. But thank you for sharing. Coalition Gaming, hey Danny, hey chat, yes. Hoping a B770 becomes reality. Would love to see it. I think we would all love to see it, but I don't have much hope. If it's a good card at all, we're seeing even the, we're seeing all these people say like, oh, the 5070 Ti, the 5070 sucks. Those should be called the 5060 or whatever. All these cards that supposedly suck in the public eye, right? If you're gonna ask, YouTube comments, Twitter, and Reddit as a source, apparently all these cards suck, but they're either sold out or like super marked up, and not all the ones that are close to MSRP are constantly sold out. So I don't know if I really trust what people like really like and don't like. But if the B770, if that's what it's gonna be called, I'm not sure if that leak said what the more powerful Arc GPU is gonna be called, but if it's that, and it's even remotely good at all, it's gonna be a pain to get. So I'm closer than I usually am to you, Danny. I'm up in Sacramento for fire incident training. It's closer, but still in California. Let's see. The rumor is B780. Let me look this. I'm gonna pull this up. Intel Arc rumor. I wonder if Video Cards has it. 2 days ago. There it is. But OEM swiftly strikes down claims. Okay. This is about 2 days ago. This was posted on Tom, so we'll look at that. What would the price difference have to be for you to buy a 6700 XT over a B580? 6700 XTs right now on eBay are going for $300. If you're lucky and a person is willing to let it go for a fair price in like Facebook Marketplace or OfferUp, I think you could swing one for like $250, if not like $275. I don't know how to answer this question because most people don't even have the option of buying a B580 for under $300. So the 6700 XT is just like the card that is available and performs well enough for the price. You just go for it. But what would the price would have to be for you to buy that over a B580? I think $250. If a 6700 XT is $250, it's a clear-cut choice, given that B580s aren't in stock or too expensive. We can look at the stock and price today. Can I replace a fan from a CPU cooler with a case fan? Yeah, you can. If my Peerless Assassin fan goes bad, you can replace it with anything. It's the exact same fan almost. I think, I don't remember if the Thermalright Peerless Assassin, if they do use the exact same fans. Do I have one on hand? But yeah, I've done that before. Just, I'm trying to think of in any situation you wouldn't be able to do that. And, I mean, if you're talking like standard 120 and 140 millimeter fans, the ones that come with the coolers typically just have, the 4-pin PWM header, and then sometimes an RGB connector, which most case fans also have. So, you would just use those spring brackets or those spring clips that came with the other one. You would reuse those and put it on the new fan. I guess you might have to look into the width or depth, the depth of the fan or the fan thickness, because some case fans, what is the standard case fan thickness, like 25 millimeters or something? But either way, you just want to make sure the thickness is about the same so it's compatible with your spring clips. Intel is like 10 years behind in GPU specs. I don't know what you mean by that, unknown president. 10 years behind in GPU specs. They're released, like the B580 and B570 being released. Um, it's as powerful as like a 6700 XT, which is a couple of generations, one generation behind. Well, I guess now two, but they haven't fully fleshed out the 90 series yet. So they're still making viable cards. So I don't know if I agree that they're making 10-year-old stuff when they're making cards that can still play modern games. Granted, mostly at 1080p and some 1440p. Let me see. Dang Dung says, I got pretty lucky in getting a 6700 XT last week for 240. Came with a few small flaws, but doesn't really bother me. You mean like cosmetic flaws? Yeah, 240 right now for a 6700 XT is a good price. I don't understand the concept of huge heat sinks and AIOs. I have an OEM Intel heatsink for my i8. Your i8? You mean i9? Or are you like making a joke here that I do not understand? Either you're trying to say i7 or i9, but you accidentally mistyped an i8. But it depends on what you're doing. I would agree with you that you don't need gigantic AIOs and gigantic heat sinks if you're just gaming and like browsing the web and watching videos, listening to music and stuff like that. Because if you've ever monitored most games, I would say, not all games, but most games don't use a ton of the CPU. Usually they're only using like a few cores, and even then, if your graphics card is the bottleneck, then you're not going to be like up at 100% utilization. But if you're doing any kind of workloads, like compiling, rendering, or things like that, that fully load up all the cores and threads to 100%, then a stock Intel heatsink will likely not be adequate, or it's gonna run at like, you know, max speed and be super annoyingly loud. So I would say huge heatsinks are so cheap now, right? Like you can go on Amazon and look up the Phantom Spirit or Peerless Assassin, whichever you want. I've been leaning towards the Phantom Spirit more recently just because of the extra heat pipe, but they both perform similarly enough at the same similar enough price. But like this is $35 for most computer builds, even budget builds that are like maybe not $300. For $300 you probably want to use the cheapest thing you can get. But like once you're entering like $500, $600, $700 territory, $35 for a CPU cooler like this that could pretty much cool like 95% of all CPUs out there and allow you to run it at low RPMs to, you know, minimize noise, then it's like it's not that hard of a decision to make. I would definitely prefer this over an OEM Intel heatsink, which you know, has way less metal and can get pretty loud. Even if your computer is working fine with the stock heatsink, and something like this would last multiple build cycles, right? So you buy this now, this could work for your next CPU upgrade and then the CPU upgrade after that. So you consider $35 over the span of, let's say, like 6 years, and you make like 2 CPU upgrades within that time. That's very cheap. And you get all the upfront benefits of it starting now with the lower acoustic noise, and it will cool better than a stock heatsink. It'll keep your temperatures lower, which in the grand scheme of things, I don't know who keeps their like CPUs for like long enough to see the like the degradation due to slightly higher temps. I think a lot of that's just kind of like you don't have to worry about. But for the people who are super concerned, like, oh, if I run my CPU at like high 70s or low 80s as opposed to like in the mid 60s for 5 years, how much of a detriment is that to the CPU? I honestly don't think it's that big of a problem. Like CPUs will likely become obsolete before it becomes like an issue being run for that long. But if you're worried about that, a CPU cooler is a cheap way to do it. And yeah, AIO water coolers are only good for 2 to 5 years. I mean, I would say I know some people have taken their AIO coolers like 7, 8. I think one of my buddies, before I upgraded his computer. He had a Corsair 240 AIO in it for 8 years, and it didn't have any problems. It was the build that I did, or the build refresh that I did with the 4790K in it. Yeah, he had his computer for 8 years, didn't have a problem with the Corsair AIO. Now, he might be an outlier, though, because I think, by and large, most people... I feel like most people just upgrade their coolers or whole rigs before you get to end of life of some of these parts. I got pretty bad luck with OEM Intel coolers. They always break within a year. In my case, I'm trying to think of... I don't personally use the Intel OEM coolers, and I can't think of the last time I built a PC for someone and, like, you know, sold it to them or gave it to them or whatever. And so I don't have a reference for how long OEM Intel coolers last, because I don't think I've put out any builds with them that are still going to this day to have as, like, you know, a data point. I've had multiple water cooler AIOs for 6+ years. It just, yeah, it depends. It's just kind of like the luck of the draw. But I will say, though, AIOs, to me, you guys have heard me complain about this plenty of times. I hate installing AIOs. It is just so annoying to, like, deal with the whole radiator, to deal with the, usually, like, the brackets and back plates and stuff that go with them. And, like, the extra cords, because you have each of the fans, and if those fans have RGB, but then you have the pump, and then sometimes they go into little hubs and stuff. It's just like air cooler. Maybe 1 or 2 cables, and then if you have RGB, use like a splitter. But like just not having extra cables for like the pump. Not only the pump control, which usually goes into like USB or proprietary hub, and like the 3-pin that has to go into a fan header. It's just less cables, less to deal with while installing. Is running triple 120mm fans in the exhaust region a bad idea? Will it kill my CPU cool? No. Since I have 3, 1... No. You guys, cooling in a case doesn't have to be as complicated as everyone makes it out to be. So long... You don't even need intake for most hardware. Like, if you're just running, you know, like... even up to, like, i7 Ryzen 7. If you just have a case with, like, adequate front ventilation and even like 1 exhaust fan only, it'll be fine. I think people freak out too much about cooling and like fan orientation and trying to min-max optimization of that. It's not that serious. You can even check for yourself. Like for most of you out there, if you have a PC case, right? And let's say you have, you know, 2 exhausts and like 3 intakes in the front, pretty standard box PC case build. Unplug all of your front fans and then just continue to game with it or do whatever you normally do and monitor the temperatures and tell me how bad the temperatures actually get. They'll increase, sure, but they're not going to get to the point where you'll likely thermal throttle and your PC will crash and shut down. Fans help, you know, promote airflow in a case, but if you don't like have the exact perfect balance of intake and exhaust, it's not like your PC is going to perform noticeably less or worse, rather. And this is something that it's really hard for anyone online to be able to give you advice about, because we don't have your exact build sitting in front of us, right? You're the only one with the exact configuration that you have, and it only takes like 5 to 10 minutes to test it. Just unplug some fans and watch what happens to the temperatures. I promise you, it's not going to be as bad as you think it is. The only thing you don't want to unplug is, like, if you have an AIO, do not unplug that pump from the fan header, because you need the pump to be running. But with regards to, like, intake and exhaust, it doesn't have to be perfectly balanced. You don't have to have 9 fans in a given case. I've run so many times in so many builds, 3 intake, 1 exhaust, which people would be like, oh my god, that's unbalanced. It's not that serious. I'm a gardening tool for AIOs. They look so good, in my opinion. I've never heard that. I'm a gardening tool. Are you trying to say like you're a tool for AIOs? I've never heard that saying before. Eli. Or Ellie, sorry. Yep, AIO is definitely the hardest part of my building my first PC. I have the OEM Intel heatsink with Arctic MX6. It worked great. Yeah, I mean, if you're okay with the cooling it gives, and if you're okay with the acoustic noise levels that the fan is running at to give you those temps, then don't spend more money if you don't have to. And you don't have to worry about leaks even if they are rare. Yeah, I've never seen an AIO spring a leak. Like any of the systems I've put out there for other people or in my own personal systems, because I have used AIOs over the years, I've never ever had one leak. They are rare, but it's just I'm just not a fan. Problem is AIOs bring in cool air, heats it up, and puts it in the case. Bad design. Yeah, so with AIOs, like, even then, I don't think it's that serious. Like, so if you put the AIO in the intake, you take cool air, it warms up as it passes through the radiator, and then now your GPU and other components inside the case will be having warm air blown over them, which never has been a problem in like all the PCs I've built. But if you have it in the exhaust, usually like at the top, or if you have like a reverse setup where you're exhausting through the front, but either way, but if you put the AIO radiator in exhaust, you have cool air coming through, and then it gets like, you know, pulled into the graphics card and then pushed out to the rest of the case. And then you're pushing a little bit warmer air through the exhaust, so your CPU temps aren't going to be as good. Either way, like, unless you're running like super crazy overclocks that are super sensitive to temperatures and things like that, at the end of the day, it doesn't make that big of a difference. Oh, you're going to have like 3 or 4 degrees higher, you know, like 76 versus 72 degrees. To me, that's not a big deal, and I don't worry about that. You could spend hours, if not days, trying to like test optimal positions for fans and radiators, but just in all my years of PC building, it has never made that much of a difference that it's worth losing sleep over, is my general take from it. I have no exhaust fans in my case, just my AIO, which is pushing air up, but even that isn't pushing it up, and it's just going out the back of the case. Yeah, your case, or like the pressure inside the case will determine like what the air is gonna do. If you have no intake and just exhaust, it's gonna find ways to pull out air through any openings that it can. But if you have no exhaust and just intake, or just, you know, just intake in the front or wherever your intake is, it's going to find a way to push air into the case until the case is filled with air, and as it brings in new air, that air will escape in any way it can. So, open benches wouldn't even be a thing if case cooling really mattered. Open benches wouldn't, if case... Say that, I'm trying to... Open benches wouldn't even be a thing if case cooling really mattered. I would change that to say if it mattered that much, or if it doesn't make a difference. You know what I'm saying? Case cooling does make a difference. It just doesn't make a big enough difference to like spend a crap ton of money on extra fans and all that stuff. But I think open benches do have their benefits. You know, just completely open air test bench with ease of access to your parts. But let's say if you have cats, or if, I don't know, something accidentally falls into it, having a closed off case does have some benefits. If you accidentally like trip and spill water, I don't know, your case does protect your PC components from external stuff. Room temperature is more important than actual case airflow. Yeah, because that's the ambient that you're starting with and that you're feeding to all your parts. But most people only have so much control over their ambient, like, room temps, so. Oh, you're a hoe. Hoe's not that bad. That's what you meant by gardening tool. Okay. Yeah, you're a hoe. And your name is pronounced Eli, just spelled with the E. Okay, so Eli, not Ellie. Okay, got it, yeah. Cooling tryhards know nothing about using liquid nitrogen to cool a CPU. Yeah, one of the most annoying things, and I will have a video about this, is if you go on Reddit or just anywhere online, as soon as you do something that's like not the most optimal thing for cooling in your PC, you're gonna have the most know-it-all people come out of the woodwork trying to point it out and like say that you're doing things wrong or unoptimally and try to sound smart. When in reality, those people are just, again, this is the internet, they're just parroting other content creators that they watched and are just saying what they told them, basically. I think one of the biggest things that I've seen recently was, let's see, Noctua optimal fan orientation. Have you guys seen this chart? Where's that picture? Noctua posted this image. I think it was it this one? Noctua's recommendation, fractal north fan configuration. What? It might have been a different one than this. Let me see. But I feel like this picture, it must be this one. This is the only one that's coming up. I feel like this picture has been making its rounds on the internet in the last like month or two. I've been seeing this quite often. And the biggest thing with this picture is this fan right here. This fan has caused so much online discussion as to what direction it needs to face, right? Because so you've got your 3 exhausts. Oh wait, where's my cursor? So you've got your 3 exhausts in the front, which most people usually do, and then you have your. I'm mixing my words. You have your 3 intakes in the front, which is what most people do, and then you have your rear and top exhausts, which. This rear exhaust, pretty much everyone universally agrees on. This top exhaust, some people are saying like, oh, the air hasn't gone through the heatsink fully yet, and now you're kind of like messing up the airflow that's trying to go back this way and pulling it up here. And remember, this is a dual fan heatsink, but this fan in the front, yeah, I agree. Just skip the top fans. Like, save the money, skip the top fans. If you have extra, sure, throw maybe this one in there, but this fan, people have debated for a long time whether it should be facing upwards or down, because if it's going in as intake, it has to make like a sharp 90-degree turn, right? And that could mess with the airflow that's coming through this way, that's like smooth. And if you have it as exhaust though, this top fan, as soon as the air comes in, it's gonna exhaust right out. I'm here to tell you that whether you face it upwards or down, you're not going to see more than like a 2, if like maybe 3-degree difference, depending on your hardware configuration. If you're running like a Ryzen or i5 just for gaming primarily, you're probably not even going to see any noticeable difference. And if you do, you would have spent so much time for like a 1 or 2-degree difference. It doesn't matter. Please show which is the suck side and blow side of a fan so that they don't place it incorrectly. It's easy to make the mistake. Do I have a fan on hand? Let me see. Yeah, I feel like I haven't seen this as a problem too much lately. But we can do it in case anyone in the comments or anyone in the chat doesn't know. But it's really easy to determine which way the fans usually. Sometimes you have these like hubless fan blades that might trick you, but usually, is this one marked? Sometimes fans have like a mark on them with an arrow showing which way air flows. But if there is no mark on there, what you look for is kind of like this bracing. You see this structure on the back of the fan. That it goes from the open fan face direction towards this back side. How else can this be described any easier than that? Even if this, let's just say this was on both sides or this wasn't here, usually you look at the scoop of the fan blades. So looking at it from here, notice the way that the fan blades are swept. And if you look at it on the back side, if you wanted to move air, you would have to scoop it in this direction. This is kind of hard to show just like on a video or like on a stream like this. But it wouldn't make sense to turn the fans in the opposite direction of the scooping, if that makes sense. I'm probably confusing you guys more trying to explain it like that with the direction of the fan blade sweeping, but I would say like 90% of the fans out there, you can just look at these like crossing members to the hub, and that's the direction it should be coming out of. So, oh, actually, why did I even pull this up? Because I'm gonna start doing some fan testing. So I recently bought some stuff to test the fans, and so I do have a fan controller right here, which is powered by a USB battery bank. So I can actually turn on the fan without having to plug it into a motherboard. But here, let me see as it slows down. Oh my god, that makes it more confusing. The frame rate of the stream is not fast enough to capture the rate at which the fan spins. But let me see if I can spin it slowly for you guys to see. So this fan would spin in this direction. It would spin in this direction towards the scoop, if you guys can see that. I'm probably confusing you guys more. That was a mistake. It's not an easy mistake if you know how to read law. Well, not every fan comes with the arrows. Let me see if I think this Arctic one has an arrow. Yeah, the Sama one did not have the arrow. Let me see. Arctic. Yeah, see? What? Look. I'm not lying when I say... And this is Arctic. Everyone loves these... what are these? The F12s and P12 fans? This one, if you look on all sides of it... I'm shining it in the light. There's no arrow. There's no arrow at all. I don't know if I have a fan on me that has the arrow. You literally just need to read the document... Reading fan documentation? Who does that? Give me a second. How did I just pull 2 fans and they do not have the arrow on them at all? Let me see if I have any other ones. Oh my gosh. All these fans. Oh, here we go. Here we go. I have found it. Okay. And this Corsair one is even more confusing because, alright, so here's a Corsair fan. This one... You see the arrow? Oh, come on. Don't focus on my face. Focus on... You see there's arrows right there? So this is pointing down relative to the screen. So that means it's going from this face down to this face. Though, I'm actually... I don't even... What is this sideways arrow for? Is this just to... try to say what orientation to put the fan in? So yeah, the sideways arrows to me does not make sense because obviously air isn't being pushed that way. Anyone know what the sideways arrow is? To help you find the down arrow? What? Is it to help you know the sticker orientation? Like, the thing about when you install fans is you're gonna install it so you have the most optimal, or at least that's how I install it. I honestly don't care what orientation the sticker is. I install it so that I have the nicest cable management, you know, routing this to the motherboard, however that is. So I'm trying to figure out what is the fan direction it spins in. Does that make sense? Oh! I mean... I think, does that make sense? If that's down arrow, this is gonna spin, pushing it down. Yeah, I guess that is the fan direction it spins in. I actually never thought of that. Because if it was pointing up, yeah, this side goes up, this side goes down. Yeah, okay. Most of the fans that I have used, they usually only have the one arrow. Sideways arrows are manufacturer's test of your test your intelligence. Yes, you are right. Yeah. So there are new reverse fan blades out now too, which makes it's not that confusing once you plug it in and you see what direction it spins. But I think with regards to if someone posted a picture of a PC build on the internet, you can usually tell just by looking at it what directions the fans are going, unless they state otherwise. Sideways arrows means up, install up. It does not mean that. Okay. Oh my god, how did we get this off topic? Guys, we were supposed to talk about the 5060, which I don't know how many people cared about. Alright, getting on to the topic of what is in the thumbnail and title, because it's been a week since the 5060 Ti, both 16 and 8 gigabyte launched, but to recap everybody, they only sent out 16 gigabyte cards to reviewers, so we had to wait a little bit longer. I think there was one... Robert Fixit found that one random channel that had the 8 gigabyte card tests, but they didn't compare it to like a whole line of, you know, a bunch of different graphics cards, right? But Hardware Unboxed, how many days ago? 2 days ago. So Hardware Unboxed had to go out and buy their own 8 gigabyte card once it became readily available to them. And they did all the testing on it. And... oh, did they also not do... Oh, did they not place it into a nice chart compared to everything? Fan conversation equals the 5060 lack of interest. Lol, exactly. I guess... Did anybody pick up a 5060 Ti? Honestly, I didn't think it was that bad of a card if you could get it for MSRP. The performance level that it comes at $430, 16 gigs of VRAM, 5060 Ti coming in at the performance level of a 7700 XT about. I think people were already paying more than that much money for the 7700 XT in the like last month or two. So people were happily buying those. And now you can get a card with more VRAM because the 7700 XT only has 12 gigs. And it's NVIDIA, so you get, you know, latest DLSS, better ray tracing, and all the NVIDIA, like, you know, creator, CUDA cores, stuff like that. I honestly didn't think the 5060 Ti 16 gig at MSRP was that bad. But I don't know how many of those cards actually sold at MSRP, and I don't know who was actually, like, looking for it in the audience. At least it keeps up with the 3080 and a 3090, lol. And the thing is, the 3080s are now like $400, and you would have to get it used. So it's more of like, you tell me what card people should get for $430 if you're gonna say the 4060 Ti 16 gig sucks completely, because 6800 XTs and 7800 XTs are going for like $500+. So like, I hate that everyone are calling some of these cards like crappy, but for the same price there's just like no alternative. Right now for $430 you have very limited options, especially if you're only trying to buy a new card. Like, are people really justifying like a, how many years old now? 5-year-old 3080 that came out during the boom of mining over a brand new 4060 Ti for the same price? Yes, the at MSRP is the tough part. I agree with you, but let's take a look at the pricing actually. Yeah, I think so. In terms of the 8 gigabyte card, I was actually mistaken. It looks like Hardware Unboxed only did a side-by-side comparison. I wish, why not throw it into a chart alongside the rest of the cards like they normally do? But let's take a look at Newegg, and we're gonna take a look at the 5060 Ti, just all of them actually, and sort by price. So in terms of availability, yeah, good point. AV1, well, AV1 encoding, the issue is Unknown President, anytime I bring up things like that, most gamers are like, none of us care about that stuff. We just care about raw raster performance. And but no, they're with the newer cards, they do come with a lot else that you could do aside from just gaming, which do bring value to some people. But I know that most of the people in the audience is primarily gamers, so they don't care about that stuff. But even if you're just caring about the raster performance, right? So let's take a look at this. What? Why is this out of stock? So these are supposed to be, I believe, 370, 8GB 5060 Ti's are supposed to be like 370 MSRP. This is an AIB model for going for 420, almost the MSRP of the 16GB model, and it's out of stock. So let's see what's in stock. Wow, look at all these out of stock cards. Wait, what? I could have sworn I saw a decent amount of in stock cards just prior to the stream. So here's a 16GB card. For this one is $480. But if you want the alternative, you're going to be looking at a 7700 XT, which is also $480. So between these two cards, this one has 12 gigs of VRAM, this one has 16 gigs, so you could argue this didn't need 16 gigs. 5060 Ti performance levels probably would have been fine with 12 gigs, but you get the NVIDIA side of things with it, right? Newest DLSS, which some people argue is better than the newest version of FSR. The multi-frame generation, and then just for content creating side of things, I personally like the NVIDIA Studio stuff, the green screening AI, the AI to do noise reduction and green screening. To me, that's pretty valuable. But yeah, between these two cards, like, oh, this one comes with Monster Hunter Wilds though, so that changes it a little bit. But even people were buying these without the Monster Hunter Wilds like gift. There are no bad cards, only bad prices. That is true. But would we... if we call the 5060 Ti at this a bad price, we would have to also call this a bad price. But it's funny because if you told somebody in like the PC Master Race subreddit that you just bought a 7700 XT today and spent $480, no one would bat an eye. But if you told them you did the same thing for the 5060 Ti 16 gig, they will say you're stupid and why did you pay over MSRP for an equivalent of a 5050 Ti or something like that. Like, I don't... The way that like the pendulum has shifted with regards to the popularity of AMD and NVIDIA, I think there might have been a little bit of an overcorrection where common sense and reason is thrown out the window and people are just massively fanboying a company over the other. PC raster race, exactly. All gigabyte 5060 low profile announced. Yummy. Man, I'm trying to just imagine when I've always thought of low profile cards in the past, right? When you think of the low profile cards that have existed, they were generally like 200, 250 or less. I don't know how excited I am about a 5060 low profile card, given that the 5060 is gonna probably be like a $325 card or something around that. And then the low profile aspect is gonna add another premium to it, if not, you know, potential tariffs and all that. So it's like low profile $400 card. It's just not what I am used to imagining for something of this, like, you know, special use case scenario. 8GB VRAM is just enough to turn on the screen. That's not true. I've tested 4 and 6GB cards in recent times, and they can still run games. You just have to have the expectation. I'm not saying that $300 graphics cards in 2025 should have 8GB of VRAM, but I'm just saying if you find yourself an 8GB card, let's say like an older 3060, and you get it for a good enough price, you can still game on it, right? There's a lot of groupthink going around. There is. A lot of groupthink, not enough individual think. Sense is common. I wonder if Micro Center will get the Power Color 7900 XT back in stock. They had an amazing deal, $699 and an additional $100 off with an AMD chip. It's funny how we call that an amazing deal because the 7900 XT, like, we gotta go back like 6 months, right? With the PC sales. And I know we don't have a time machine, but it's just crazy to me how something like the 7900 XT, non-XTX, and if we go back, let's just go back like 5 months. So 7900 XT, how cheap did these get? So you're saying for $700. So it's down $640. Here's one for $620 Micro Center, $634, $620. Did these ever get below? I could have sworn I saw them for $599 at some point, but maybe I'm remembering it incorrectly. But it was in the lower 600s for like the longest time. Like, oh, here's 608 with the coupon. But it's so crazy how these cards are now, with the Micro Center discount, if you get the 100 off, it would be considered a good deal. But those are similar to deals that we've had already in the past. It's just the market's so messed up now that a deal that's similar to what we saw 6 months ago is considered really good when normally prices are supposed to keep trending down on older products. But yeah, but it's the best as we can get right now, right? So for $699 minus $100 if you buy a chip with it, not the worst deal ever. AMD got all the good reviews and fanfare only to release a card not at MSRP and also be out of stock, but the review videos can't be edited. Yeah, exactly, Jason. Like, it's funny because all the information is out there, and a lot of the people in the PC building community still refuse to see the situation as it is. That AMD cards are equally as expensive for the same performance as NVIDIA cards right now. Like, I keep on seeing posts where people are like, I'm thinking of getting the 5070 or 5070 Ti. Is this a bad idea? And people are like, no, get the 9070 XT. I'm like, bro, do you know how much those are actually going for right now? Like, some of the models, $800, $900. You're not even talking about the same thing. When you can get the 5070 Ti for close to MSRP, like, pretty decently right now. 5070s and 5070 XTs, they're not far from MSRP, and they're attainable, so I don't know. 5060 Ti and 7800 XT are the same price here in the UK at $480. At that price, the 7800 XT is the card to go for raster performance-wise. But if you care about ray tracing, if you care about CUDA, if you care about, you know, the DLSS and things like that, then I don't think the 5060 Ti is that bad. Let's see. So is this the only card available? That interesting. I wonder if this is like going in and out of stock, because like the Zotac one is a little bit more expensive and that's out of stock. The Windforce one out of stock. For a card that supposedly sucks or is only mediocre, you know, it's kind of all sold out. Oh, what is that card? This is the Gaming Trio for $550. Yeah, so now we're starting to stray like 120 over MSRP, which is not really worth it. How much are 3060s going for? 12 gigs? I think those are closer to like 225 to 250 at the moment, if I had to guess off the top of my head. But it's been a few weeks since I've looked at pricing. So we want to look at 12 gig. Oh, you're talking about like brand new or used though? 3060, 12 gigabyte. Let's look, just look at Amazon, see what they have. So on Amazon, so 415, 300. And is this legit? So that's brand new, but in the used market, you should be able to get it for a little bit cheaper. Let me see. So used market, 12 gigabyte, pre-owned, 220. Okay. 12 gig. This was 240. There's only, wait, are these fake? 0, 0. Look at this. This looks like it might be a real name. R Duncan 102. This might just be a new seller. This one, MCKI 40093. But if you want one that is like, I don't know, these are kind of outliers, right? Because there's only one at 220. There's only one at 240. And then we got 250, and then 220 plus 30 makes it 250 shipping. So it looks like 250 is kind of the going price if you want to look at multiple listings. Or you can get them brand new still on Amazon, if this is legit, for 300. Is this real? Amazon Germany. Okay, well, I don't know how that's gonna work out. Getting this 3060 12 gig to the United States, if it's coming from Amazon Germany, how much shipping is gonna cost for that? I bought my 7900 XT, the XFX top model, for 600 new. Yeah, in this climate, that's not a bad price. But what was the 9070? I keep on forgetting the 9070 XT MSRP because it doesn't matter, right? It's not actually selling for that much. But what is the intended MSRP? It's 600, isn't it? And before they came out, but when they were announced, everyone was like, wait for them, don't buy the last gen cards because it's going to be better and be the same price. What is the actual MSRP of this? I think it's actually, yeah, it's 550 for the non-XT, 600 for the thing. It's just, these MSRP aren't sticking in my head as much because they're fake. $50-70s for 610 on Newegg last night. Because card companies are like someone throwing $1 in the middle of a homeless camp. The main reason more people are steering towards AMD is not because of price or availability. It's because Jensen doesn't shut up about AI, but barely mentions gaming anymore. I mean, if they were priced correctly and in stock, I think we see the vocal minority of people online. There are people who don't even go on YouTube comments. They don't go on Twitter. They don't go on Reddit to like announce to the world, I'm switching from, you know, crappy team green or whatever. I messaged Jason about this, what, last week or something? Let me see. Here we go. This is so funny. Like, most normal average people aren't making Reddit posts, especially on like a fanboy subreddit like /r/Radeon. Goodbye trash video, hello AMD, crown king. Just got my Asus TUF 9070 XT after using Nvidia for years. They had the 2060 Ti. Was that even a thing? Was there a 2060 Ti? I thought there was just a super. But 3060 Ti, 3070 Ti, I gotta look this up now. 3060 Ti. No, 2060 Ti rather. Was that a thing? I cannot type today. There was no such thing as a 2060 Ti, right? I'm pretty sure that wasn't a thing. Anyways, they were so much of a fan of Nvidia for years, they can't even remember the exact graphics card that they had. But experienced some driver issues. Oh, it's so funny too. This person says experiencing some driver issues. Nothing DDU won't fix though. Hopefully. Overall, I'm pretty happy though. Like, you talk about people complaining about driver issues, but when it comes to AMD now, people are like, oh yeah, driver issues aren't that big of a deal anymore. And apparently, you know, Nvidia has been having driver issues more recently, but again, it's like that pendulum shift has gone so much that it's almost as if AMD can't do any wrong and Nvidia can't do anything right, no matter what each company does. Jason keeps on seeing the 5070 in stock at MSRP. Yeah, I've been seeing more like that, like MSI store, and I think Best Buy in the last week. I was actually trying to get a 5070 Founders Edition, but they weren't available near me. So Best Buy has been dropping the Founders Edition 5070s. The annoying thing about it is that you have to have a store within 250 miles of you to like buy it or something. I don't know. It's annoying. Remember when they showed off the pyramids of stock? Yes, I do remember. I looked at that and I was like, you do like, yes, a pallet or multiple pallets full of GPUs when there are quite literally tens of thousands of PC gamers probably looking to upgrade right now. There's not going to be enough. 3060 12GB go for 150 to 180 US in my local area. That's a really good price. Even for a card as old as the 3060, you got to ask yourself, don't like, I always look at it in terms of what else can I get for the same amount of money? And for up to $180, I don't think you're getting anything else remotely close to a 3060 12GB. Unless, obviously, if you're talking about like getting a lucky deal or something like that, then yeah. But when we're talking about standard, you know, average reference pricing to like what the majority of the cards are going for, 180, yeah, I can't think of a different card that would be better than a 3060 Ti. Now, this, again, is not accessible to most people. I would buy up these, you know, if I could at that price. But people aren't selling that for as low in my area. I've been looking to upgrade my GPU. I'm on a 1080 Ti. I'm looking for the similar performance when I first purchased it, but understand pricing for a 5080 is mental. What should I do? You're looking for, I mean, what was the 1080 Ti when you first bought it? What would the price have been? 1080 when before pricing like exploded out of control. MSRP on release. So you're talking about, and remember, $700 back in 2017 got you way more card than it does nowadays. So you want the top of the line card, because that's what the 1080 Ti was when it released, basically in 2017. You got a top of the line card for $700. But now if you want a top of the line card, it's technically the 5090. But let's say we ignore the 5090 and it's 5080, and those go for like $1,400 to $1,600 right now, even at Micro Center. So what is the best card you could get? What I would say is to get a holdover card. Right now is not the time, especially if you're money conscious, to buy a close to the top of the line card at prices that aren't mental. So let's look at 1080 Ti. And we'll look at the cards. Like, if a 1080 Ti reference is 100% performance, to make an upgrade worthwhile, I would say you're not going to get anywhere near what the 1080 Ti gave you back in 2017 or whenever you bought it. But I would say a 50% performance uplift is pretty decent and would be like the minimal I would go for. So if a 1080 Ti is 100%, we're going to go kind of into the 40 to 50% territory. You would want to get at least like a 7700 XT, which we just talked about, goes for a little under $500. You could get the 5060 Ti 16GB, also under $500. You can get a 6800, which for in my area, some of these you're gonna have to get used. But yeah, you're looking at like these cards ish. Yeah, probably cut it off at the 7700 XT, and get something at least that or better. 6900 XTs, if you're okay with going AMD, I think these have been going for around $500, and you're getting pretty close to doubling your performance. But this is now considered a 2-gen old card, so I don't know. Some people might not be as happy spending, you know, $500-600 for a card that's not like the newest and can't run the latest, you know, versions of all the software that these companies are coming out with. Frames wins games. Here's an interesting question for you guys. What do you guys think if you took like pro level gamers, right? The ones that game at like 360 FPS, 360 hertz monitors and stuff like that. If you had to just put a guess on it, and I don't know if there's a video of this that exists. If not, I bet the only people who could do it is like people with pull, like Linus or Gamers Nexus or Jay or something like that. I don't know any pro gamers, and I couldn't convince them to come and test for me. But let's just say you have like a pro FPS player, like Counter-Strike or Valorant or something like that, right? An esports game that is used to gaming at 300 plus FPS. if you force them onto a 60 FPS capped monitor, how detrimental do you think that would be to their ability to perform at their peak level? So like, let's say their peak level is 100% at 300 plus FPS. If you force them to only game at max 60 FPS, how much worse do you think they're not going to be like 50% worse, right? They're not going to be like half as good as they are. It's like diminishing returns as you get higher and higher in FPS. Like the noticeable difference between like, let's say 30 to 40 FPS versus like 40 to 60 FPS versus 60 to 120, it diminishes for sure. The curve isn't linear. So like someone who has, I don't know. I feel like at 60 FPS, even if you're used to like hundreds of FPS gameplay, 60 FPS is still passable. It's still, you can still work with it. You can still play. Wait, Linus did it with Shroud? Did he do that exact test? Or, wait, this sounds like a familiar video, but I didn't think that they tested like 300 versus 60. Did they test like 240 versus 360 or something? Let me see. Let me look at this video. Does high FPS make you a better gamer? This was, whoa, 5 years ago? I thought this was only a few years ago. My goodness. This was pre-COVID too. It's not about noticing, guys. I'm asking about skill, like, in terms of, like, your ability to play the game at the same level. Obviously, it's noticeable, but does it make you that much worse of a gamer? That's two different things. Like, being able to perceive the difference and then missing your shots and dying more often and things like that, right? That's what I'm trying to answer. See, this video sounds familiar. I don't recall the whole thing. If you guys can summarize it for me, but, wasn't it just to see if it was noticeable, or did they do like you would have to do like that that FPS testing game where you're shooting and you have to do like multiple runs and average it, because yeah, just noticing it, of course people are going to be able to notice it for a much higher range. Do you plan on looking at viewers' systems on Twitter like you used to back years ago? I kind of started doing a thing where, let me see. I was doing it on the Discord server, which, Eli, if you didn't know, I do have a Discord server. And people post, like, their build, setups and showcases and stuff like that. And, I think we did look at Chris's the last time that it was posted. But, yeah, if people ask for it, I'll do it. But, people haven't been posting to here, as often recently. But I don't really use Twitter too much anymore. I think the Discord is a much better place to post it, because if you post it here, you know, they have nice little galleries and stuff you can do. And like the comment thread, it lives on in the server forever. Whereas even though it lives on forever on Twitter, like it will easily get lost. Whereas the server, this is like a channel dedicated to build and set up showcase, so that other people can eventually roll through and look at, you know, even if someone posted something like over a month ago, like people can still go through here for inspiration and to look at your setups. But yeah, I don't, using Twitter was kind of annoying to like coordinate with stream activities, just because I feel like more people use Discord than Twitter. So yeah, they did skill tests. Discord link in description. Okay. Oh yeah, thanks for that, Jason. They did skill tests. Okay. Let me see. If I play this, I might.
Last video using a high-speed camera to investigate.
It's all the same. So I don't think I'm gonna notice the difference. In my mind, I know that it does not feel good, right? Because I'm on 60 and I'm like, ugh, this feels terrible, but I actually haven't done legitimate like stats and break it down, and like maybe I did get less kills now.
Bro, why do I have to verify my phone number to join the server? Oh, hell no, says Peckish. It's because my server got raided by, not raided. What happened? Like, a hacker got into the server one time, and I was like, okay, this isn't gonna happen again. You're not giving me your, you know, you're not giving me your phone number, right? You're giving it to Discord, and I understand people are, like, very, like opinionated with regards to how much privacy and information they want to give to things, but like giving your phone number adds another level of security so that people can't just go and mess with Discord servers and then just make another account. And you know, it limits the amount people are able to just be complete douchebags and assholes. And unfortunately, it just makes the server more secure. That's what it comes down to. The server got hacked. This was like, I mean, how many years ago was this now? Like 2-3 years ago, however long this Discord server's been up. It got hacked. And I was like, okay, no, yeah, we're adding as many levels of security to it. But just know, you're not giving me your phone number. You are making a secure account through Discord. So sure, they get your phone number. But come on, they have your email already and all that stuff. Are you using like a burner email on your Discord accounts? It's fine if, you know, you don't want to give your phone number and to make your Discord account secure. But that's just, unfortunately, one of the requirements for the Discord server. Can I give special permission? But I don't even know this person. Why would I give them special permission if they might come to try to, you know, hack the server or like post malicious links and porn and stuff like that? I know, but me doesn't have a phone number, bruh. I'm child, bruh. Well, if that's the case, I don't know. I feel like I don't know if we talked about this to much extent on the streams, but I don't know how I feel about children being in Discord servers with like adults. So I feel like you gotta have some kind of cutoff or threshold, right? Like, when I one day become a parent, how comfortable would I be knowing that my like 10 or 11-year-old is in a server with like 30, 40-year-olds? And I know when I was young, when I started online gaming, I was gaming with adults when I was like only like 14 or 15 years old. But the internet is a lot different now than it was in like the mid 2000s, right? So if you don't have a phone number because you're a child, I don't know if, unfortunately, the Discord server would be the best place for you, because I definitely am not running like a child Discord server. It's like, it's a community for mature adults to talk about, like, or mature individuals, not adults, because I think we do have like some teenagers in there, but it's a place for people to talk about PC parts and stuff. So it's just, I can't really make an exception. Discord is for 13 years old and older. Sorry. Watch out with Daniel and giving your phone number. So you're assuming everyone 13 or older has a phone number? I have good parents, kind of. Me is super cool, you know. Yeah, unfortunately, that's just one of the requirements. If anything, well, I'm trying to think. You can't just use your parents, with your parents' permission. If you use their phone number, then they'll get like the activation code. That's just one of the requirements, unfortunately, right? I'm trying to think. I'm not in a bunch of other Discord servers, but are you guys in any other Discord servers that require the same level of security? Like, am I the only person out there with a Discord server that requires a phone number? I wouldn't think so. I would think that most people, or like a lot of the bigger, well-known communities out there, do want to keep their communities safe, and having a phone number isn't like the biggest ask in the world. There are some with it, but very rarely. I don't know, very rarely. You guys can chime in. How many of the other servers require it? Because I don't know. Xbox Live taught me how to slur. Well, that's not good. I also have to babysit my 9-year-old friend. What is a 9-year-old doing on Discord getting viruses every day? Oh my god. The kids have too much access to the internet these days. But okay. Yeah, thinking back on my middle school days playing EQ EverQuest, for those of y'all who don't know. My goodness, why did they cancel EverQuest next? I was actually looking forward to that. With adults, it's kind of weird, not gonna lie. It is kind of weird. It's kind of normalized now, but it's mostly because people usually do text chat. It is really weird when you hop into a voice channel and you've got like 30, 40-year-olds on voice with like 10, 11-year-olds. Well, technically, they're not even supposed to be there because, like Jason said, Discord is for 13 years old and older. But yeah. Okay, but anyways, getting back to this. We got derailed there. I'm going to have to watch this off stream because
of anyone we tested.
okay, let's see. Reaction timer test. Shroud 60 hertz, 169, 166, 168. What? Wait. Standard deviation is milliseconds. Wow, like this person right here, 180 to 154 to 156 milliseconds. Shroud was pretty consistent. Linus, who you could consider like a typical person, he's not like a pro gamer or anything. 180 versus 175 versus 163 reaction timer. Okay, so from 60 to 240, it's kind of hard to put this into a percentage. Like, sure, the reaction time was slower, but in terms of how good they are relative to their peak, how much does this affect? Like, you could be, how many percent slower is that? Let me see. 180 divided by 163. So that's about 10%. So the difference between these two are about 10% more milliseconds, but that doesn't mean you're gonna die 10% more of the time or get 10% less kills, if that makes sense, right? What other tests did they do? Overwatch flick test. 240 versus 144 versus 60. Okay. I don't even know what a flick test is. I'm gonna have to watch this off stream and we can talk about this next week. And we're talking about pro gamers here. So when you talk about plebs, like the rest of us out here who aren't pro gamers, the differences aren't going to be as much. But let's see. Double doors test. Yeah, I need, this is, what is this, a 36-minute video? We're not going to be able to digest this and break it down. I'll look at the results and we can talk about it next week. But all I'm saying is, I think right now, to get way back on topic, you just need a card to hold you over, even if it just gets you 60 FPS because of how bad everything is right now. That's why my 12-year-old only has Nintendo, no phone, and no TV, and also only a kid's educational tablet with no internet. The phone thing's tough though, because I think a lot of parents nowadays need, or like, you want to be able to be in contact with your kid if they need to text you or call you for whatever reason, right? So to not have a phone, and you're like, use a friend's phone. What if they're not in a situation where their friend has a phone? And now you're expecting for them to bum off of somebody else whose parent allows them to have a phone, even though you don't want your own kid to, right? Like, but yeah, we're not going to get into it more, but I was a literal child playing with people in their 30s and 40s. What were they thinking? I would never do that now. Yeah. Ben Wong says, I think my 3080 Ti can hold on for a bit longer while I play LoL. Your 3080 Ti can probably hold on for a lot bit longer while you play LoL and CS2. Unless you mean you're only going to play those until, you know, the other cards come out and you are looking forward to playing those. Yeah, 3080 Ti, I think is going to last a while. People are still using 1080 Ti's right now, 8 years later, playing at like, you know, 1080p medium settings in the newest games and stuff, but it's still trucking along. I think the 3080 Ti, I will be using 3080 Ti's. I haven't been using, they're not cheap enough yet, but give it like 2 to 3 years, I will be using 3080 Ti's in budget builds, assuming everything doesn't go to complete crap. Like, it just needs to get a little bit older until we can start fitting them. Oh, actually, I picked up a 3080 recently. That video is not going to be for a while, but I recently picked up a 3080 for $330, which is a really good price. And that's going to be in a build, not like a super budget build, but I would say at that price, even for a 10 gigabyte card, that's really hard to beat. Oh yeah, if your kids are homeschooled, no need for a phone. That's one thing, but not everybody homeschools their kids. But that is another discussion because people feel a certain way about the public education system and all that stuff. So that's why or either out of convenience and things like that. Kids with too many restrictions tend to rebel eventually. It's interesting because anecdotally, I know kids that were too restricted and weren't too restricted, and they both rebelled and did not rebel almost equally. Like both, I would say both my wife and I had a ton, like my mom was super strict, but my wife, her parents were like super hands off, not strict at all, but we turned out both like pretty similarly. Like we're both pretty like we didn't do drugs or like drink prior to, you know, becoming of age. We didn't get into like quote unquote bad things. We both, you know, went to school, got our college degrees and stuff. We turned out okay, is what I'm trying to say. But there are people who I know who are the exact opposite of us, whether or not they had strict parents or not. So it's kind of just a random mixed bag, which makes me kind of scared to be a parent because I want my kids to go out in the world and do good and stuff. And I would imagine myself being a kind of strict parent just based off of how I was raised and how I turned out. But that doesn't necessarily have the most impact on, you know, their upbringing, because there are external factors like whatever else is going on in the world and their friends and their school and things like that, that affects it too. So, yeah. Melissa is a club rat. I'm trying to think if Melissa has ever gone to a club before we met. She might have once or twice. And I definitely was not a big clubber. I would club with friends and stuff like that, but not a ton. Like when I was, you know, nearing the end of college and once I was old enough to go to clubs, which is 21, but yeah. One thing in my life is that is bullied a lot, so it taught me to never be actually rude to people or break rules for not appropriate reasons. I guess that it shaped me. Yeah. Well, sorry to hear that you were bullied. Bullying is actually one of the things that I'm the most afraid of with having children. Like, people who get bullied to like such extreme extents that they feel like there's no other way out, and you know, like you hear it all the time, like kids who take their own life. Unfortunately, it's like the saddest thing in the world, and the parents feel so helpless because they either didn't know about it or they knew about it and they couldn't do anything about it because the way that, you know, schools set up the zero tolerance policies and things like that. But for anyone who is getting bullied out there, just, I don't know if I have any good advice for it because I've never personally been bullied, at least to like to that degree. I'm pretty sure I've gotten bullied growing up, but not like extremely heavily. But I will just say, push through. And, you know, with the internet nowadays, there are communities of like-minded people like you who share the things that who share and like the things that you like to. And you can make friends in any corners of the world. So it gets better. I promise you. Okay? So, how old are you now, Nerd on a Budget? I am turning 36 this year in like a couple of months, actually. I am a little bit older than I look. Some people still think I look like I'm in college or high school. Raising a kid in the current day seems like a nightmare, and even worse if it's a girl. Yeah, I would agree with you, Ben. I would agree with you. A lot of crappy people out there. And in school, we paid attention to teachers since we didn't have a phone. Yeah, so I graduated high school in 2007. So I feel like cell phones were becoming more and more popular and more readily available and like cheap and stuff with the plans and the phones themselves around the mid 2000s. And that was like right before the iPhone launched in 2007. I remember distinctly in school, phones starting to become a problem with kids just texting in class. And remember, this is just texting. Back then, the phones didn't, if they had data, they had like basic websites. They didn't have like full YouTube video and Reddit and everything. But just from texting alone, kids were getting super distracted. And they would, like, teachers who caught the kids would take their phones for the rest of the class or the rest of the day and stuff like that. So just being in school now, I can even imagine with so much power is in a phone, like how bad kids' attention spans are. Though you could always get them a dumb phone so that all they can do is text and make calls. Or you could get them a dumb phone and cancel the texting so that all they can do is make phone calls. But I don't think many parents are doing that, and it's probably more expensive to get a dumb phone than it is to get like a cheap smartphone. What's funny is that parents all kind of agree. What's funny is that parents all kind of agree that phones are a distraction, but they also demand to have 100% access to their kids. They just text them randomly throughout the day. That is true. Like, what do they call it? The helicopter parents? The one that are constantly hovering around their kids? Yeah. I spat in my bully's lunch one day and he was furious because he didn't get to eat at home. Since then, we became friends. Wow, what a happy ending. I would say, in terms of like bullying, it's really tough. There are things that help like build self-confidence. I would say, like, and I know this isn't accessible to everyone, but like doing either a sport or martial arts and stuff like that does help build either like friendships, camaraderie, and self-confidence. Like, if you think of like if you're older, think of your, you know, nerdy whatever year old self back in middle school or high school, versus that same person who was going to like taekwondo classes or jiu-jitsu classes or Muay Thai or whatever the heck, right? I feel like you would be a lot more confident in just the way that you carry yourself if you did some kind of extracurricular activity, especially one that is like more physical. But that's not saying every kid should learn some kind of martial arts or sport, but I would say that it definitely helps. Can you learn confidence through PC building unk? I think you can in this day and age where being nerdy and geeky is kind of like more accepted and cool. If you're the person who is able to help people with their PC problems and gaming problems, even as young as middle school and high school, you could probably use that to your advantage to, like, you know, make friends and stuff like that. Now I'm looking back, like, is that bad if people are... Hopefully they're not only becoming your friends because you're knowledgeable and that kind of stuff, but it's just like supplemental to building friendships and stuff like that. But in terms of like straight up bullying, I don't know, man. Like, especially like physical bullies, I don't know what the solution to that is. If my kids come home and tell me that they're being physically bullied, that bully and their parents are gonna experience something that I've probably never shown before. And if I have to bring a baseball bat to the school and make some threats and be that crazy parent, I might just do that. If the school isn't doing what they need to protect the kids. You know what I'm saying? Like, when it comes to someone like my own child who is less able to defend themselves, and someone is picking on them, and the school and the parent of the bully is just like okay with it, yeah, the baseball bat's coming out and I'm gonna go crazy mode. Don't pick chess as a sport. Bro, have you not seen? Chess streamers are a thing now. Chess is like in. Chess is cool. What are those? Andrea Botez, the Botez sisters, and like all the other chess people. Even I'm catching wind of some of the chess stuff that comes fed to me on Reddit and YouTube and stuff. It's pretty interesting stuff. I agree. A bat, the only answer to a bully, 9,000%. The only issue is with that, and I'm just like kind of joking around, right? Is that you don't want to meet violence with violence because then it could escalate and then someone could bring a gun, etc. But you would hope it doesn't get to that situation. And if it does, then man, I'm gonna be, yeah. Says the person called Magnus. Will you take a look at my PC in the Discord? Yes, we can do that, actually. This is actually going to be a pretty chill stream. With regards to... Yeah, I mean, we're done talking about the 5060 Ti 16 gigs. It doesn't seem like anyone here bought one. Even though, again, I don't think it's like the worst in the world. Alright, so Eli, where did you post it? Why am I not seeing it pop up here? Oh, here it is. Are you Kiko or Kiko? Let's take a look at this. Specs: Ryzen 7 9700X, 32 gigs of DDR5 6000. RX 7800 XT, X670E MSI motherboard, 850 watt NZXT PSU, 5000D, and 4 terabyte SSD. And here's your build. This is the 5000D. My goodness, that case is so big. But it's a clean looking build. And you got some car models, and actually, how many figures do you have in there? 1, 2, and then 2 car models. Yeah, clean looking build. I would say in terms of like, first of all, your specs are pretty solid. In terms of the aesthetics, the only thing throwing me off a little bit is that like you have a really clean white build, and the white car fits, and then even this figurine on top kind of fits because it's like grayish blue. But the orange and yellow figurine and yellow car, it kind of, to me, it doesn't look in place. But that's just me. If you're happy with it, then by all means, like, this is for you to look at every day, and if it brings you joy, then that's all that matters. But yeah, very solid specs. Remember that guy that cheated in chess with his ass? Yeah, didn't he have like a thing and like an earpiece that is like a vibrator or something? I don't know if that was real or not. Did they even prove that? But yes, I've heard of that. Oh yeah, all the hotties are into chess players. Yeah. There are bullies at pickleball. Lol. Oh, I saw that one. That dude. You're talking about that dude, right? Who like got super pissed off for some reason. I saw that. Oh, yes. Okay. Did I see the Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion remastered? Who didn't, right? Is anyone unaware that Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion is now out remastered? And not like the way that they've been remastering Skyrim a million times. Like, this remaster looks amazing. So I never got a chance to play Oblivion, and it was crazy coincidence that I just started a playthrough of Skyrim. So I played Skyrim when it came out back in, was it 2011? That was the year it came out, right? Let me look this up. But Skyrim release date original. When was the original release date? Yes, it came out at the end of 2011. And I admit, back then, I was still pirating games, right? I was just fresh out of college and too cheap to buy games, and I was still so used to pirating games. So most of my Skyrim playthrough has been on a pirated version of Skyrim back in 2011. I don't remember who the cracker was at the time. But, you know, with these games, with the Elder Scrolls games and like Fallout and stuff, there's so much in the world and so much to do that you sometimes get overwhelmed, and oftentimes people stop a playthrough for like months at a time, and then they do that thing where they come back and they have no idea where they are in the game and make progress and stuff. So I've done that over the years with Skyrim a few times, but I just started like 2 days ago playing Skyrim again because I was just itching for a like a medieval fantasy deep RPG. And then they announced Oblivion, and now I'm torn. Do I pay full price for the Oblivion remaster right now, which is what, like $50 or something? Let me see. Oblivion Steam. How much is this thing? Yeah, it's like $50. So for me, $55 after tax. How young am I? Or how old am I? I was born in 1933. Sure. But yeah, like, I don't know if I could justify $50 right now on this when I already have Skyrim, the anniversary edition, and I just started playing through it, and I'm having a lot of fun even with Skyrim. You know, Skyrim is now a almost 14-year-old game, and playing through it again. I usually do like a melee class when I play, like, you know, Nord with like dual wielding or two-handed sword, but I'm doing a mage playthrough for like the first time ever. Or a caster, I guess, not mage. Mage is like, wow. But I'm having a lot of fun right now. So, like, I could probably play through Skyrim and enjoy it and beat it, and then hope for a like Steam summer sale. Probably not. It's gonna be. We don't think Oblivion Remaster is gonna be on the Steam summer sale, right? It's gonna be too new. But at some point, it's probably gonna go on sale for a little bit cheaper. Then I can pick it up and play it. But I think the remaster, from what I've seen, and I've watched quite a few videos like kind of reviewing it and showing the gameplay, it looks amazing. Like, you know how these games, they throw so many mods at it to make it look like a modern 2024, 2025 game. I feel like they basically made it the equivalent of playing Oblivion with like thousands of mods in it, even though it's not the same thing. They didn't just like add better graphics over it. They like, it sounds like they remade the whole game almost. So yeah, it looks awesome. But yeah, Jason, they never proved the ass thing, but they basically said there's no way he didn't cheat. that it's so funny. Like, I don't know how many people in the chat know about chess, but the fact that stuff like that, and people know who like the Botez sisters are and like Magnus and things like that, goes to show how like popular chess is, even though people might not be seriously into playing it. But it's kind of funny. Yes, going to play tomorrow. Huge download. I mean, it's as big as like Call of Duty or Grand Theft Auto is nowadays, right? It's like 120 gigs or something. So given how good the graphics look, and it includes all the DLC, I think it's kind of, I'm not gonna say reasonable, but as expected. Oblivion Remastered is on Game Pass. I think I saw people saying it was, but I think I've seen people post Reddit posts that said like they're playing it on Game Pass, but then they still intend to buy it. I don't, like, I'm not subscribed to Game Pass right now, and I don't know. I would rather just buy the game and own it outright and have it, you know, in my, with all the achievements and like my playtime recorded and just all the things that is on Steam. I'm not a huge Game Pass person, especially for RPG game like Oblivion. I think I would rather have all my progress like what's it called, like written down or stored on Steam than go to Game Pass. Yeah, especially if I ever end up benchmarking it or playing on multiple computers and stuff. I feel like with Steam and the Steam Cloud, it's just way more convenient than downloading the Microsoft Game Pass store version of it. CD keys are our friends. I don't think Oblivion Remastered has a cheap CD key. Like, maybe in like half a year. But yeah, look at these CD key prices. Is this one Steam? Oblivion Remastered. Oh my gosh, gotta put in a birthday. Like this one, let's see. Okay, this is the Steam Standard Edition and activates in your region. Okay, so this is cheaper, but still, $42 plus tax in Washington, 10%. It'll be $46 at the end of the day. Like, I think I'm straight up talking about like 50% off sale. So it might be a while until I play this, but I think I have Skyrim, and I still need to finish Cyberpunk, and I was gonna get back into GTA because they did the enhanced edition. So I have plenty of games to hold me over until this gets cheap enough. It's worth the cost in your opinion? Yeah. No, I'm not doubting it. Like, the amount of effort they put into the Oblivion Remaster, I'm surprised they didn't charge $60, like a full game for it. Because people have been asking for, now they're asking for the Morrowind Remaster, which hopefully with the success of this, means that they will make a Morrowind Remaster. But remember, they were making a Skyblivion, which was making Oblivion in the Skyrim engine for like years leading up to this. And then all of a sudden they dropped this, and I think Skyblivion is still gonna go on to be a thing. But I think it might have, like, I think most people are now content with this Oblivion Remaster. And I don't know how many people are still gonna care about Skyblivion after this. But yeah. Crack the remaster and buy the original. Do I have the original? So I never played the original, and I remember it being like super huge on when the original one came out. I was like full-fledged MMO mode. I did not care at all about single-player games. So I missed the boat on that one. So Oblivion. Yeah, I don't even have Oblivion on Steam. Like, I never picked it up through some bundle or like a sale or anything. But yeah. On Green Man Gaming, yeah, that's what. Or were we just looking at Green Man Gaming? We were looking at something that was $41. Yeah, that was Green Man Gaming. I'll wait. I don't mind waiting for it. The thing is, like, even though Skyrim, given for how old it is, still plays very well. And there's tons of mods you can do to make the graphics even better. But I'm just kind of playing it as is from Steam with like no mods, and I'm enjoying it thoroughly. I don't have the most powerful computer. I'm running a B580 myself. So, like, running Skyrim on it is amazing because I think the game caps at 60 FPS. So, I'm just, like, running 60 FPS. I know you can unlock the FPS and stuff like that, but I don't really care. It's a single-player RPG game. Like, it's not that serious. But running at 60 FPS, like, consistent where 1% and 0.1% lows are also 60 FPS, is kind of fun. Papa Sneaks a lot. What are your thoughts on the 6700 XT? I'm running everything at 1440p well, and I don't want to upgrade yet. 6700 XT is still a good card. Should be able to hold you over for the next year at least until things hopefully die down. Sky Oblivion is also coming out this year. Do you think they had a fire lit under their butt because of the release, or has it always been released planned for 2025? I don't remember the whole kind of like release schedule plan or whatever, that the roadmap that they had for Sky Oblivion, but didn't it get delayed, if I remember correctly? So even if it comes out later this year, I don't know how. I was somewhat interested in it when they announced it, but now with the Oblivion remaster, I don't know how much I would care for it. Evil Tech said, back to the butt plug thing. We always gotta go back to it because I'm slow on the comments. I think if anyone could cheat in chess with the butt plug, they'd earn the W. Still waiting for May 15th to get here, so I'm actually very curious. I mean, if you talk about like influential games of all time, Doom is one of them. People have a lot of fond memories for Doom, and Doom Dark Ages being the next one. I don't know how popular Doom is, like, in terms of the sales that they're gonna get from it. It's like, everybody knows what Doom is. I don't think anyone in particular hates Doom. There's definitely a lot of Doom diehard fans out there. But in terms of, like, how popular of a franchise Doom is today, I feel like it's not, like, super up there, like, compared to, like, what? Dark Souls, Dark Souls, Elden Ring, that might be more niche, too. But, I guess compared to, like, let's compare it to the Oblivion remaster. Do we think Doom is going to sell more than a remastered game? I feel like the Oblivion... Let's look at the Steam charts, actually. Which isn't representative of everything, because Game Pass isn't accounted for. Let's take a look at this. Buy GTA 5 or get Game Pass for $12 a month. GTA was free on the Epic Game Store at one point in time. Anyone who missed out on that, I feel like you missed out on getting a really good game with like a ton of hours of enjoyment and playtime for free. All right, so Oblivion remastered in so in the first day, all-time peak 24, so almost 200,000. That doesn't include, and this is just Steam. So this came out on console and stuff too, right? Did it? Let me see. What? Fexture Life? No. Here we go. So this came out on PS5, Xbox, and Windows. But on Windows, it's on Steam and Game Pass. So in terms of the sales it got, it's kind of hard to put a number on it. And more people, it's been one day. Not everybody buys the game day one. It's gonna get more sales in like over the next week or two, or even month. So I'm curious, like, what is Doom? How is Doom gonna do relative to it? Because this seems like it's got a bunch of hype and a lot of people excited, but I guess, what is the most popular game that's come out in recent times? Off the top of my head, Power World got a ton, but that's like a new IP. I'm talking like established IPs. What was a super successful game that released recently? GTA from Game Pass won't let you use 5M. It has to be on Steam or anything else. Interesting, but that's only with people who want to play like RP or modding, right? Never liked the Doom games, even from the first ones. Interesting. I think a lot of people have fond memories of playing Doom from like straight up floppy disks and stuff like that. Sometimes some GameKey websites sell GTA 5 for really cheap. Yeah, honestly, as much as like having a monopoly sucks for like Steam just does it the best. I know Steam sometimes messes up and things like that, but having used all the other game launchers out there, even the ones that are good, separating your game library, there's pros and cons to it, but I just feel like the cons don't outweigh the pros. Like, I understand if Steam ups and, you know, like closes shop one day, closes down their servers, authenticating the fact that you own the game, whatever you can argument you want to bring to the table. Like, yes, it would suck that your whole game library is now inaccessible and things like that. But I don't know how much of a risk that actually is versus like actively going out and now saying, okay, I'm going to actively not buy all my games on Steam. I'm going to buy it on the Epic launcher and EA Origin and with Good Old Games and stuff like that. Like, some like GOG isn't that bad, but my goodness, anytime I have The Witcher 3 on GOG because I bought it on sale, and every time I fire up The Witcher, I just think to myself like, my God, I'm about to just buy this on Steam, because launching anything else besides Steam is always annoying. Helldivers 2. Wait, what? Let's see. Let's look at Helldivers. Which is funny because Jason was actually playing Helldivers on his stream on Monday, his fundraising stream. And I have the game. I wasn't able to play because I had to do some work. But I actually tried to return Helldivers 2. So I played it the most at the LAN party last year. And it was alright, but I didn't think it was worth the money I spent on it. But I just played over 2 hours of it, and I couldn't get my refund. So now I own Helldivers 2, and I don't plan on playing it because it's just, I don't know, like, to me it's not that amazing of a game. But where is the player charts? So they peaked. So it peaked at more than double that 14 months ago. I don't know how much of that was the day one. Oh, that was like day one. Wow. It peaked at 500,000. And then as of right now, there's like 20 to 30,000 people playing. Have I tried Warframe before? I have, let me see. I'm trying to think about ever even hopped into Warframe. I played Destiny 2 quite a bit. On Battle.net, actually. But Warframe itself. Do I have any hours in this game? Nope. I have it added to my Steam, but I've never hopped into Warframe. Warframe's been around for so long. That's why I didn't know if I even made a character ever. But never played Warframe. Yeah, I don't know. Like, after playing Destiny, I think I was done with, like, my MMO FPS fix. Wasn't really interested in playing, like, you know, looter shooters anymore, where you're just constantly running things and grinding up the next incremental small upgrade and stuff like that. Just finished off a big bowl of salty buttery popcorn. So good, bro. Extreme Zone popcorn is like one of my favorite snacks ever. We actually just went, like, that's the one thing at a movie theater I will buy. This past weekend, we went to see that movie Sinners with Michael B. Jordan. my wife and I love Michael B. Jordan, so any movie he's in, like, we would be willing to go watch him in the theaters. But we watched the movie Sinners. I thought it was a really good movie, worth watching. And because we're talking about popcorn, popcorn is like the only thing I'm willing to spend for in a movie theater. And we usually carry popcorn in our like snack cabinet. Like I have bags of popcorn. I just love eating popcorn randomly, and it's relatively a low calorie snack and pretty filling, and it's just super good. I don't know, I love it. So it's funny that you just mentioned it. Oh nice, gonna go see Sinners this weekend. It was really good. Even though the trailer started to reveal quite a bit of stuff, the story is different enough that I feel like the trailers didn't reveal everything. It is like, I think it's worth watching. It's pretty good. It lasts the whole movie. That's why it's goated. Yeah. So we bought, God, it was $8. And it was, we forgot, well, they don't let you bring water in to begin with. And Melissa just needs water, like to stay hydrated, because of stuff going on right now. And we didn't bring water, so we had to buy $7 bottled water. I wasn't super happy about that. So a medium-sized popcorn, which is enough to get you through a movie, and one bottle of Dasani water cost us $15. Yeah, that water bottle I wasn't happy about. But for the big tub of popcorn, I didn't mind paying for that. Movie theater prices are crazy. Surprisingly, the movie itself, which was a little bit past matinee, because like matinee ends like at what, 12 or like 1? The movie itself was like $11, which wasn't that bad for an afternoon / evening. It was like $11.50 per person. So the tickets itself wasn't ridiculous, because I'm used to like $16, $17, $18 movie tickets at, you know, prime time night. So yeah, we ended up watching that and it was pretty good. So glad I found someone that agrees with me on Helldivers. The thing about Helldivers for me is that, I don't know, maybe I'm not trying to be like a AAA gaming snob only, but like just the gameplay, the movement, the gunplay, the menus, everything about Helldivers feels like it was from like a B or single A studio. Like, it doesn't feel like it could be as polished as, you know, a $60 game. And Helldivers was cheaper, right? Wasn't it like 40 or $50? And I don't know, there's so many good polished games out there, games that I even own that I don't even play or haven't played or found time to play, that it's just Helldivers, it wasn't able to capture me. I know some people love Helldivers. Like, it was super popular on release. Some people are still playing it nowadays. But it's hard to put, like, it into words why when I'm playing it, I'm just, like, not super thrilled or having fun. Next LAN party popcorn machine. We forget to make popcorns at so many of the LANs. We always buy popcorn prior to LAN parties, but we just forget to pop it because we have so much other food and snacks going on. But yeah. What AAA game makes you rock hard? We've talked about this in the previous streams. Grand Theft Auto makes me rock hard. Grand Theft Auto 6, despite not coming out for another year and a half on PC probably, makes me rock hard. Honestly, out of nowhere, this Oblivion release makes me kind of rock hard as well. This Oblivion remaster. I am looking forward to playing it a lot. Assassin's Creed Shadows, I thought it made me rock hard, but now that I'm playing it more and more, I'm just kind of like chubbed, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's the combat system, I don't like it as much as Valhalla, but I'm still gonna play through it. But yeah, Assassin's Creed, I would say, did not meet my expectations. It doesn't mean that it's a bad game by any means. Assassin's Creed Shadows, I just had really high expectations, given, you know, that it was set in Japan, which is a setting that a lot of people had asked for so many years, and they announced it like, what, 2 years ago, and it got delayed multiple times. I just had like my expectations for it was like an 11 out of 10, and it's coming in at like an 8 out of 10. So it's not a bad game, but it doesn't meet my kind of ridiculous expectations for it. Unk is bricked up. Yeah. I thought Matinee was Oh wait, I thought matinee was straight up like opening, which is like 9 a.m. until 1 p.m. When is matinee for movies? When is matinee for at movie theaters? Google AI says before 4 p.m. Yeah, so for me, see, but I didn't, on the website, it didn't say that it was specifically matinee. Matinee is just early showings, and I guess it could vary, but I could have sworn at some theaters around me, they start the evening prices like straight up at 1 or 2 p.m. So to me, matinee is just whatever the earlier showings are before you get that price increase closer to 20 bucks in the evening time. And some of the movie theaters around me are ridiculous and start or end matinee like really early. Have you tried popcorn instead of foam for shipping? You're talking about straight up food popcorn? I have not. Dude, you want to look at shipping materials? Guys, you want to talk about the ultimate money saver for PC shipping materials? Can you guys even hear or wonder what's going on right now? I should probably not do this and spill this all over the place, but whatever, I can clean it up. I can clean it up. You want to talk about good shipping materials for hardware and PC components? And remember I told you how many eggs me and Melissa eat? I'm not joking. We finished 24 packs in like a week and a half. We eat a ton of eggs. So instead of, I don't need popcorn to ship stuff because I have all of these egg crates, which you can cut them down and fit them to sides and stuff. If these things can protect eggs in shipping, you got to put them on all sides. These can protect whole PCs and PC parts. What you do is you open them up and you lay them flat and you put them on all sides, and they have enough like give and compressibility to them where they should protect PC components and whole PC builds. But yeah, because, well, I'm not just like hoarding that, right? Like I get enough shipments in where I do also like save foam for like PC builds and stuff. Like I have like foam as well, but you know how much like this stuff costs if you were to go to either Amazon or USPS or UPS? Like if you are into like shipping hardware or PCs and you're trying to flip and make money and stuff like that, spending money on shipping foam, it cuts into your profits, and they're kind of ridiculously expensive. So unless you're getting them at like massive qualities, I just save what I get usually. But I also save the egg crates just in case, you know, I need more than that. So Walmart 60 grade A eggs are, so that makes each dozen, let's see, divided by 5. Each dozen is like $4 or $5. Yeah, that's actually a decent price. Our eggs are now, we've been buying 2 dozen at Costco now for around $8 to $9, which makes it like, you know, $4.50 a dozen, $4 to $4.50 a dozen, which I miss the days where eggs were like $3 a dozen. We're getting there though. It seems like it's getting better. Egg carton shipping materials, exactly. Well, egg prices are crazy, $6 for shipping supplies. Danny, you're the reason eggs are so expensive. No. If you think about it, eggs, in terms of their nutritional value, how many calories they have, and the protein value, compared to like straight up eating steaks, it's probably not as cheap as chicken, but it's comparable. I think eggs are a very, despite their higher prices, still, if you fit eggs into your diet, it helps reduces the price of your groceries overall. Bubble wrap is pretty cheap. I don't like shipping with bubble wrap, especially when you ship like double box whole computers, because the bubble wrap can like give more and pop. because you're putting like a whole like 40-pound computer on it and stuff. So I like more rigid shipping materials. At least, yes, exactly. At least I'm recycling. Reduce, reuse, recycle. Or what are the 3 R's again? Reuse, recycle. I'm missing one of them. Reuse, recycle. Is it reduce, reuse, recycle? It is. Yeah. Reduce, reuse, recycle. I am reducing the amount of other styrofoams and stuff that I'm buying. I'm reusing these egg cartons and stuff. And whoever gets it at the end of the shipping, they can go recycle it if they want. I used a bunch of old dry water bottles before, and the person got mad. I sent my trash, lol. It's so funny because JG Wright, who is a member of the community, is a nerd on a budget, how to ship. I've already shown this, I think, on previous streams, but we do have some new people here. When I shipped this PC to JG Wright, and he posted the unboxing video of it too. And I've been doing this for years. My goodness, I'm watching an ad on my own video. I'm making sure myself gets paid. But I was putting in like Tropicana dry, of course. Soft and bouncy. For the bottom layer, I'm gonna put a bunch of bubble wrap. So I did use bubble wrap here. The bag bubble wrap is a little bit better than the free bubble wrap. But oh yeah, I put in the Costco purple egg crate stuff. Sides, and I'm going to use things like some of these egg carton things from. And this was 7 years ago, okay? So I haven't changed. I've been doing this for a long time. Reuse, recycle, repent. No Dinos Nuggie box. I mean, cardboard boxes in general don't provide that much protection unless you like roll them up so that they're a little bit springier. But I've sent things in random boxes. I don't think I've done it with Dino Nuggie boxes. Danny's PC is egg cooled. Yeah. Game Pass, $1 for 2 weeks. I'm in. But afterwards, it goes up to like 10 or 15 bucks, right? Depending on which tier you want. Here's the thing about Game Pass. I got Game Pass before. And I just, you know, subscriptions, right? You just kind of forget to cancel it. And then, yeah, I had a Game Pass subscription probably go on for 1.5 years in the past. Because we got it for the LAN party, I think, to play, what is that game where you're like little blobs trying to throw each other? What is that game called? It's like that silly game where you're like these colored blobs and you try to throw each other off the bus and stuff. But whatever, we got it just to play that. And I forgot to cancel it. So I probably have paid for like 1.5 years of Game Pass in my entire life and have only played one game at one LAN party, because I'm stupid and did not cancel it. But yeah, just if you get Game Pass, make sure you actually use it and cancel it if you don't. Not Fall Guys. No. What is that game? Gang Beast. It was Gang Beast. Yeah, and it's funny because I got it because it was a $1, you know, for the, month or something, but then I never canceled it. But yeah, Gang Beast made me spend like $100-something on Game Pass and just completely waste it because I was playing like other stuff at the time. Are you religious? Just curious. I'm not religious. I don't have a problem with religion or religious people so long as they're not in your face about it. Growing up in middle school and high school, I did not have a good experience with the people surrounding me who were religious because they were very much trying to convert you, saying that, you know, you're going to go to hell. They took me to their church several times. It's just not my thing personally. And I don't have a problem with people who are religious because there are a lot of good things that come about religion. Though also just because someone is religious doesn't mean they're a good person either. There's like, you know, there's layers to this kind of thing. But, yeah, I guess for me, as long as you're not super like pushy about it and you're not like super judgmental for people who aren't religious, then we have no problems. But yeah, I think like I know a lot of good people who like are really good friends or close to me who are religious, and it's just fine. But for me personally, as someone who's very like, you know, science / math / data driven and all that stuff, I cannot be convinced to believe in whichever religions are out there, right? And all the explanations that people have given me, to me, didn't make sense. And you could say like, oh, well, the Big Bang Theory, people have never seen that or there's proof of it. But it's just like, you know, religion, it kind of has to come from within. Like you just have a gut feeling about it, whether or not you have faith or not. I mean, if you call me believing in science and the origins of the universe and things like that, that's where my faith is. But yeah. And also, going to church at a young age, especially Catholic church, because my dad is Catholic, that was like probably the biggest thing to make me not want to be religious. Like, I gotta sit in church and listen to some dude like talk about whatever for hours, and like I just felt like it was a waste of time. Not to knock religion or anything, but that was like young me, right? And then just growing up, I just never found like I connected much with it. And I think if anything, religion and churches and stuff like that is very good for community building, which is something that like I was already getting with like my friend group and family and things like that. So I never felt a need to like look for an exterior source for that, if that makes sense. Am I about to just cancel myself now? People think I'm like anti-religion or something, but yeah. If you watch these streams religiously, then you also believe in Dannyism. I believe in Dannyism. Let's see. I'm of the mind that when I go, I'll know for sure. Yeah, I kind of same way here. And if I end up in hell, if that is where we end up, then, you know, it's going to be eternal burning. But if we still have some kind of conscience, you know, after we leave our physical selves, then we'll know. But I don't know. I feel like I have enough relationships and friends and family in my life, and I have enough meaning in my life, I guess. Not to say that religious people don't have meaning, because a lot of people are religious and still do a lot of great things and, you know, fill their time with stuff. But I don't think I would have time or want to make time to go to like church and do whatever it means to be a religious person. And in terms of like, I guess you don't have to go to church to be religious, right? As long as you believe in whichever religion you believe in, at your core, that could be enough. And as long as societally you obey the social... Did OBS just disconnect? I think we're good, right? I think the end comes and then it's over. Yeah. What is your favorite PC that you've built over the years? It's hard to say. I think... Let me pull it up. We're going all over the place. Religion, but see, I think PC build. I think this one, and it's not like my super favorite. It's just one of the ones that stick out in my mind. This build right here. I think I just love this case, and I'm in a similar case to it now. But I also love the way that this thumbnail came out, and I don't know, just this build in my mind sticks out more than a lot of the other builds that I've done over the years. And this was my own personal build that I was using. And when was this? Like, this was during the pandemic, wasn't it? Or right before the pandemic? This was right before the pandemic. October 2019 was when this video came out. It's not my favorite because of the hardware that was in it, because it was just an RTX 2060 and then like a Ryzen 3600, if I'm remembering correctly. It was the definition of a mid-range build. But I love the case. This was before the pandemic. Like, even though this had RGB in it, I thought the RGB looked really nice and not like complete unicorn puke because it was like pretty limited. I don't know. I just like this. Yeah, the TU150 was a great PC case. I still have it sitting back there. I'm using a deep cool case that's similarly shaped with a handle now. But yeah, just to answer that question, I probably have a lot of favorite builds, but this one always sticks out in my mind for some reason. And it was 5 years ago. Do I optimize PCs? No, I don't. You mean like in terms of my own PC, I do like the bare minimum for optimization. Like going in, setting my XMP, enabling resizable bar. I don't even really overclock these days on my personal system. I might do it for videos to see if I could push hardware a little bit more. But like for my own personal system, I don't need overclocks. Like I don't mess with RAM timings. What else in terms of optimization? Like I go in and, you know, I set the max power profiles. I'll grab whatever chipset drivers and stuff I'll need. But you know, there are people out there that are charging like $500 for you to optimize their PC. Like there are PC optimizers that charge hundreds of dollars to other people to not even change their hardware up, but to like get on a consulting call with them and says, all right, do this. Like I'll retune your RAM and I'll overclock, you know, and set the, you know, settings in your BIOS and stuff like that. And in your Windows, I'll change some settings to like get you the max FPS. But I don't know. That seems a little bit much for me. I only optimize / overclock my RAM. Everything else stays at stock settings. And again, I feel like a lot of people out there, like, they do it because, I don't know, maybe because content creators talk about it like it's a thing that's necessary. But if I snuck into, like, 90% of the people's houses out there who have overclocks, right? And I turned off the overclock without them knowing, and they just started using the PC the next day, and they don't like monitor like clock speeds and stuff like that. I don't know how many people would actually notice on a day-to-day basis if you disabled their overclocks secretly. Obviously, there's gonna be some people who might notice, but I feel like the majority of people, it would be like, oh, I'm only getting 230 FPS instead of 260. Like, how noticeable, unless you're looking for that type of thing, would it be noticed? No XMP, same stock settings other than the XMP. Yeah, I mean, no, I set the XMP, but do we count that as overclocking? I think technically it is, but some people don't count that as real overclocking. OCing is just not worth it anymore. The gains aren't worth the potential instability. Yeah, it's weird because I feel like I've heard a lot of people say that, but then if you don't overclock, it's like the vocal minority who just want to sound like they know what they're talking about, or who want to sound like extreme and hardcore and super enthusiasts and stuff like that, that always bring up overclocking, when I feel like most people out there are okay with stock settings and, you know, just predetermined boost algorithms and things like that. My belief is that the more I buy, the more I save. Then you subscribe to the Jensen Wong religion. We're past 2 hours in the stream. Okay, I think I'll go on for about 15 more minutes before ending the stream. Today was a very chill, less news heavy, go with the flow type of stream. So I kind of like those. Because then we get to talk about, you know, chess masters putting vibrators up their butt to cheat and things like that. It gets a little bit more unhinged when we don't have that much of, like, just strictly PC tech to talk about. We get all over the place. I run 2 pairs of RAM, like 2 different sets of memory, you mean? And my PC blue screens to death if I try XMP, so I manually set the frequency and timings to the slower pair. Are you running like completely like different sets, or at least within this, I guess it doesn't matter, even within the same manufacturer, if you have different speeds and timings for the XMPs. The more you buy, the more AI cards we make. Exactly. Space Dog, it was a good stream, my first time here. Yeah, most of the streams are pretty chill like this. I try to interact with the audience as much as I can, answering questions or just giving my thoughts on things. Sometimes when there's releases out, we look over performance and we, you know, try to help answer people's questions, whether or not they should upgrade, things like that. But for the most part, it's a stream run by a tech content creator that sometimes adds a little bit of personality and personal life into the mix. But usually pretty chill every Wednesday, same time, same day as always. Just put the fries in the bag, Unc. I know, right? My numbers have been going down. I need to just quit YouTube altogether and go work at Wendy's. What would be a better job? Would you guys rather work at Wendy's or McDonald's? To, you know, assuming you make the same pay, but you get free lunch. I'm thinking Wendy's. If I had to go put the fries in the bag, I think I'd rather work at Wendy's than McDonald's. Wendy's also, like, McDonald's I feel like is always just, no matter what, regardless of what you think about McDonald's, like, it's always just super busy at, like, the prime times. I feel like every time I go to Wendy's, even at prime time, it's a little bit more chill. Like, not as long of lines. It's not as hectic and stuff like that. And I like the Wendy's fries, nugs, and like their bacon cheeseburgers, chicken sandwiches, and stuff like that. All just the same. You said you'd rather do Micro Center. What? You said you'd rather do Micro Center PC build once? What do you mean by that? Danny, be a gigolo. If you act quick, you can pick a free corner. No. Wendy's is just arguably better all around. What up, Pika Wubs? I think they each have their strengths. I don't know. Like, Wendy's fries are good, but something about the McDonald's fries, when they are hot out of the fryer, just salted, you know, because you went at a lunch rush, so they're constantly giving you the freshest batch of stuff, and you get the fresh, hot McDonald's fries. Oh, so good. Not to say Wendy's fries isn't as good, but Wendy's fries are, I don't know, every time I go, maybe it's because Wendy's is as popular around me, they're like not as fresh, they're not as crispy and crunchy, they're a little bit more soggy. They're still good, but McDonald's fries, there's something about it. You said you like to just do PC builder at Micro Center. Oh, for an easy W2 job? Did I say that before? I think working at some kind of system integrator, working at Micro Center, building PCs for like a 40-hour week, I think that wouldn't be too bad. But that's not putting the fries in the bag. You told me to put the fries in the bag, and now you're saying I could work at Micro Center instead? Where are you going on, Jason? Arby's curly fries usually get me, but then you gotta get the rest of your food at Arby's, which, I don't know. I've had Arby's, like, probably, I can count on one hand in my entire life. I was not that impressed. It wasn't that bad of food, but I don't, first of all, Arby's are not as common, around me anyways, as McDonald's and Wendy's are. I kind of got to go out of my way a bit to get Arby's. So, like, for food that's not, like, top tier or, like, that great, I don't find myself going out of my way for it. Yes, you're right. I forgot. Yes, put the fries in the bag is just do what you're told. Like, just go dribble the basketball. Remember that? For those of you guys who remember, just go dribble the basketball and stop talking about politics and stuff. But, yeah, I totally forgot. That's what the saying already was. I took it quite literally. Oh, I've never had a soggy Wendy's fry. Mickey D's, on the other hand, I agree Mickey D's is slightly better in the fry department. There we go. You get some agreement there. Fresh Mickey D's fries hit differently, as well as their Sprite. When they have the syrup stocked in their soda machine, the McDonald's Sprite. There's a meme about it. It just hits different. It is like overly sweet, but that first swig of Sprite that you get, it's just cool, refreshing, extra syrupy. Oh man, I prefer Red Robin's bottomless fries. Lol. Red Robin's around me sucks. Every time they bring the fries out, it looks like they left it sitting for 20 minutes before they get it out to me. That's their strategy. They keep you waiting so that you're just gonna leave the restaurant before you can eat like 5 baskets of bottomless fries. Free refills on fries when? I remember when McDonald's had the bucket fries. I don't remember what year they took that out, but it was like a big cup of fries. Not a literal bucket, but it was one larger than a super size. So it was one larger than that. Where's the cup fries? There's not even any pictures of it anymore. But McDonald's used to have a thing that's one bigger than the super size. And it came in like this kind of like extra large cup. But this must have been in like the 90s. It's when I remember it. And apparently they didn't do it past that. Chili's is apparently doing very well. Young people love it. That is a surprise to me. I don't feel like Chili's is like super popular around here. Well, let's take a look. Chili's Google Maps. So Chili's, if we take a look at their rating, like around me. So there's like if we look in this area, Chili's, how many Chili's are in this just greater area, right? Like there's 1, 2, 3, and this is like a pretty big area. But let's look at this. Wait, chili? That's not even a real Chili's. That's Thai cuisine. Where's Chili's? Chili's South Indian cuisine. Where's an actual Chili's? What is it? Mexican grill? We have Azteca. Where's the Chili's at? I could have sworn we had Chili's around here. Yeah, definitely. That's what I'm just saying. I thought we had at least one Chili's. We don't even have Chili's. I might have been confusing it with Azteca or thinking of Azteca instead of. We have a lot of like Mexican food, but apparently we don't have a Chili's. Guess it depends on the city or state. Here, Red Robin's brings the fries right away, hot and crispy. Yeah, and I've gone to Red Robin's quite a bit over the years too. I like Red Robin's. There's nothing wrong with it. I like their what is it? Their raspberry or strawberry like Sprite mixers or whatever the heck, non-alcoholic drinks. And I like their burgers and I like their onion ring tower. I like them. It's just their fry service, like in the last decade that I've gone, has not been up to par. Our college had the super bag of fries for $10. They would fill up an entire bag. Imagine that today. A single large French fries today costs like $5 or $6. Ain't no way you're getting a full bag for that much money. My son loves Chick-fil-A, but I'd rather go to Popeyes. Chick-fil-A, you know, aside from like people hating, like if Chick-fil-A didn't have the religion or political aspects drama that they had in the past, I feel like most people would agree that they like Chick-fil-A. I like Chick-fil-A. It's a little bit pricey, but then again, McDonald's is now almost as pricey as Chick-fil-A, so why not go for that? They do have the uniqueness of the waffle fries there, so yeah. Some home-cooked fries in a deep fryer or air fryer are good because you can eat them right away every time. Yeah. I like getting frozen like waffle fries and tater tots and stuff like that to throw in the air fryer. It's way cheaper. I hate making burgers at home. I don't know why. Because like anytime I want a burger, I just want a burger. I don't want to buy a thing of hamburger patties to keep on hand. I guess you can freeze them, but then you have to pull them out and defrost it every time you make it. Like, we don't make burgers at home, like, almost at all. Maybe if we have a get together and we're making like 20 a bunch of burgers for people, but for dinner, like me and Melissa, we almost like never make hamburgers. Cause then you gotta buy the buns, you gotta buy the lettuce, you buy all these small ingredients that you have to buy to make like a bunch of them. But like lettuce doesn't last that long. Tomatoes last a little bit longer. Onions does last a little bit longer. Getting buns, depending on how you keep them, they might last a while. But like we're not trying to eat burgers for like the next 5 weeks, once a week or something. But we make pho. We haven't made pho recently, and we love pho. Like, we don't like hamburgers enough to make it at home, but when we batch make pho, we eat that stuff up completely, entirely, like every time. Yeah, for 2 people, it's a big mess to make 2 hamburgers, right? There are ways to do it, but just the way that they sell hamburger patties and vegetables and stuff and how long they last, we've never found it to be worth it. Specifically, if you fry them with beef tallow. You're talking about the fries. Some of those taste better than fast food burgers. Yeah, the good thing about at home is when you make burgers, you can put whatever you want on it without being upcharged a ton. Like, we usually carry bacon because we eat bacon for breakfast. So, like, oh, I could put bacon on this burger for, like, very cheap instead of, you know, a $1.50 or $2 upcharge to make it a bacon cheeseburger and things like that. Watch your cholesterol. Funny thing, we had a scare in our family recently, so I did go and get a full panel. I think I talked about this in a previous stream. I do not have high cholesterol, even though I eat like crap. And I do not have diabetes, even though I also eat like crap and have a sweet tooth. So in terms of my, like, blood panels and stuff like that, my blood work, I'm good in terms of the diabetes and cholesterol department. Thank goodness. Because if I had to guess, I would have thought that I would have been a little bit on the elevated side for both of those things. But I'm not, according to the doctors and the blood work. So I'm glad about that. But I am being more mindful about my diet and things like that now that, you know, I'm getting a little bit older and getting, you know, some health problems. My foot issue gave me a scare to be more serious about my health. So cholesterol causes inflammation, which messes with lupus. Yeah, dude, in terms of like the science behind inflammation is crazy. You know, the sun triggers lupus as well, right? Basically, anything you can think of can trigger inflammation in multiple diseases. I mean, there's the obvious, like, high salt diets, high meat diets can trigger gout, actually. But, like, anything you can think of can trigger inflammation, I feel. Which kind of sucks. It just depends on the person. I have a crazy sweet tooth. Dessert every day. I'm so bad, but have no diabetes, thankfully. Yeah. And it's just something that you just want to monitor the older you get. And, you know, as your body is not as resilient as it was years ago in your young age. And I'm in that phase of my life now. Getting old and feeling old. Not garlic. Garlic is healthy. I love garlic. You want one of my favorite things? Garlic Parmesan fries. Oh my god, these I could scarf down. Like, any type of restaurant that has garlic Parmesan fries, like, the more garlic, extra garlic. Like, I'm an extra garlic kind of person. Like, I want, when I eat my fry, I'm scooping up bunches and bunches of garlic on it. None of these pictures are doing, yeah, none of these pictures have enough garlic. I want tons and tons of garlic. It needs more garlic. We're talking about minced garlic here. But getting back to it. Okay, can garlic cause inflammation? Garlic is generally considered to have anti-inflammatory properties. However, in some cases, it can cause inflammation. It works as an anti-inflammatory, as if wasn't already super nutritious and low in calories. Ooh, garlic. I never thought garlic was like unhealthy, but if it turns out to be a superfood, I like that because I love garlicking everything. Yes, garlic, like literally on everything. My stir-fry vegetable go-to is like either like broccoli, spinach, green beans, whatever vegetable out there. Like pan fried with minced garlic and like salt and pepper. I do my vegetables pretty simple, but yeah, have to have garlic in it. Garlic seasoned vegetables. Oh, Din Tai Fung green beans. If you guys know about the Din Tai Fung green beans, then you know. But yeah, I love garlic. I just ate and I'm hungry again, lol. I have not eaten yet, so I need to eat. And I'm going over, so we're going to end in the next few minutes here. Garlic on my eggs all the time. I do garlic salt on my eggs or garlic powder. I don't actually do the minced garlic. Maybe I should try that. I don't know why I've never tried it. It's just never been a thing I tried. Garlic bread is indeed amazing. Even garlic in my mac and cheese. Yeah. Garlic thermal paste. So I bought some... So we have all kinds of garlic. We have fresh garlic. We have minced garlic in a can. But I also got like squeezed minced garlic, which kind of comes out almost in a paste. Yeah, this stuff. We bought this from the grocery store. So then you don't have to cut anything. You just like squeeze it into the pan and fry it. Obviously, it has some preservatives, so it's not like fresh garlic. But for a quick pinch, it's not bad. Also, Trader Joe's frozen garlic. They make these garlic in these little like... you can pop them out in the little squares. So we use these on hand too. So we have every kind of garlic in our household because both my wife and I love garlic. I'm so glad you brought it up though. I tried garlic salt on my popcorn once. Didn't really enjoy it, but garlic on everything else. I have not tried garlic salt on popcorn. Try angel hair pasta with pesto. Yep, pesto, garlic, olive oil. Yeah, I know. I love that stuff. Garlic barbecue wings. Imagine garlic toothpaste. Ew. Stinky breath. Yeah, that's the only thing. Every time we eat a ton of garlic and then I go to kiss my wife, she's like, ew, you have garlic breath. The garlic breath, like, even after you brush your teeth and use mouthwash, I feel like there's still remnants of it no matter how hard you, like, how thorough you are. It just has, like, a lingering effect that just takes a little bit of time to go away. Tonight, I cooked beef and lamb madra with rice and fries. Starters, I had garlic mushrooms. I'm not a fan of mushrooms for some reason. It's just the texture and the taste. I don't know. It's something like reminiscent of dirt for me. But I'll probably eat garlic mushrooms. Garlic will help mask the mushroominess. Yeah, like I like a lot of vegetables, but for some reason mushrooms and like olives, they just don't do it for me. And those are two very prominent pizza toppings too. They're grown in dirt, my boy. I understand, but you wash the dirt off, so it shouldn't taste like dirt after the fact. That's my point. Like, there are carrots grow in dirt. There are potatoes grow around dirt. There are a lot of things that are grown in dirt that don't taste like it. But mushroom and olives for me is just the texture and then the actual flavor is not my thing. Parsley will cancel garlic breath. I did not know that. Funnily enough, garlic destroys bad breath bacteria. Interesting. I was gone for 5 minutes. How did we get on the topic of garlic? Eli, I don't know how new you are to the streams, but I have ADHD and I don't take medication for it. So it is very easy to derail me in terms of stream topics and conversations. But I find that even though we get derailed a lot of the times, people enjoy the derailment and like the different directions we go. So it just works out. Yeah, mate, I hate carrots. I love carrots. Surprisingly, like baby carrots or just like, you know, sauteed carrots, I'm fine with them. Anyone else here like pickled eggs? Nope. I think I've tried it once. Just not a fan of like pickled things. Like I would just rather have those fruits or vegetables unpickled. It's not that I hate the vegetable. I just, the vinegariness of it, I'm not a fan of. Very pungent. Oh, you're okay. You're a longtime viewer. Yeah, your profile picture looked very familiar, and uh, I got your name wrong tonight. But there's a lot of names I gotta keep track with, so it's pretty difficult to know how long people have been here. But yeah, I feel like a lot of if you have ADHD or ADD, you might understand. I like almost any vegetables except for beets. Lol. I'm like meh with beets. I can eat them. I don't hate them, but I don't love them. I never go out of my way to get them. I don't hate carrots, but not a huge fan of them. They're meh. Yeah, we all have our preferences. You know you have garlic breath when your wife gives you a fist bump instead of a kiss. Lol. Is the 5060 newly released? Okay, we're gonna end on a PC topic tonight, though. So the stream's about to end. The RTX 5060 has not been released yet. There are rumors of it, but it is not gonna launch until May. When exactly in May? Who knows? But May is only a week away, so I'm guessing a couple of weeks away. But most people are thinking it's not gonna be worth it because it only has 8 gigs of VRAM, and it's probably gonna come in above $300. So we're just gonna have to wait and see. But yeah, I think that's gonna wrap it up for tonight's stream, though. Thank you everyone for coming to hang out and to keep me company as I talk to this webcam into the mic to the ether. You guys are on the other side of the internet, so you guys are there to keep me sane as well as to give me conversation topics to talk about, whether they are PC parts or not. But yeah, same time next week as always, Wednesday, 5 p.m. Pacific. So if this is your first stream, we do this every single week. Hope to see you at the next ones. But this weekend, I'm actually going to get my personal build update video out. The reason it's taking so long, and you might be able to notice it in the video. I'll probably tell you guys here because you're a small subset of the viewers anyways. I have to redub the whole video. I recorded it, the majority of it, when I was sick, and it sounds horrible. So I have to basically re-record it and lip sync it, which sucks because it's really difficult to do that. Even though I'm saying the exact same things, to say it in the same like tone, cadence, and everything, it is very difficult. So it's taken me a while to redo the audio. And in the video, I'm going to show you guys at the end, I'll put it at the end, like what it sounded like when I was sick versus my redub. It sounds much better redubbed, but you might be able to notice like here or there that my lip isn't perfectly synced. But that's why it's taking so long and I've delayed it. But I'm making it a point to get that video out this weekend. So be on the lookout for that. Be on the lookout for any kind of shorts coming up. And yeah, I'll see you in the comments of that. Or I'll see you on the Discord server or in like a YouTube shorts if that releases from now until next week. But everyone have a good night and I will catch you all next time. Bye-bye.